Listen to this. The CME just hit a record-breaking 30 billion in crypto futures open interest. And XRP was the fastest in history to hit $1 billion. Spain's second largest bank is already running operations on the XRP ledger. And at SWIFT's flagship event, the event that Ripple got kicked out of years ago, Sibos, well, the banks are openly talking about Ripple and on-demand liquidity, aka XRP. I'm telling you right now, this isn't hopium. These are real-world shifts that show XRP's moment is coming faster than anyone has expected. Let's break this all down. First of all, has Bitcoin topped, folks? I want to know your opinion. Has Bitcoin topped already? Are we going to see, or we are about to see, the massive rotation into altcoins? Has Ethereum topped already? Did we just see ETH have its run up? Is money about to rotate into assets like XRP, Chainlink, Ondo, Velo, XLM, HBAR, Algo, AVAX, etc.? Let me know your opinion in the comments of this video. So here's the twist. Because while traders argue over Bitcoin candles, the real story is in derivatives and institutional positioning. The CME just confirmed that crypto futures open interest have crossed 30 billion for the first time ever. That's institutions, folks. That's not retail. I want you to remember that. There is a big difference between institutional money and retail money. Retail invest $100, institutions invest $100,000. Think about that for a second. Just putting that size, that difference in money coming in between your institutional investor and your retail investor. And the breakout star, when this is all said and done, you know what it's going to be? I don't think you need me to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyways. It's going to be XRP. According to the CME, XRP futures have already hit 1 billion in open interest, and it only took 3 months. The fastest ever. Faster than Bitcoin, faster than Ethereum, faster than Solana. Let that sink in for a second. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that institutions, they don't care about Twitter debates or influencer drama. They care about liquidity, compliance, and tradability. XRP is now firmly in that conversation. The futures growth at this scale isn't retail apes buying moonbags. It's hedge funds, it's trading desks, and it's brokers positioning ahead of what they see coming. So has Bitcoin topped? Maybe in the short term. But the big takeaway here is that institutional money flow, it's diversifying. Bitcoin isn't the only asset on their radar anymore. Sorry, Bitcoin holders. XRP is proving it can capture serious attention at scale, and that is incredibly bullish. And then we got this. You gotta love the Bitcoin, folks. The communities, I heard a Willy Woo. I don't know who these other guys are. Listen to this.
Next question. What about XRP? XRP right now is a call option on Ethereum. It's again, remember, people like narratives, right? So Bitcoin has a clear utility. It's a safe haven to some extent for some people. Like it has, you can explain it, right? If your grandmother asks you what is Bitcoin, there's a way to answer that question. I think with Ethereum, there's a growing narrative or a convergence of narratives that make it easier for mainstream to understand. Ripple, Solana, they don't have that yet. I think Solana to some extent because it was the meme coin or the casino of crypto, right? So people could associate with that. Ripple does not have that yet. So I think it is still a little bit like Cardano to some extent, right? Where it has potential, it has an ecosystem, but it doesn't have that clear call to action USP where you're like, okay, I associate Ripple with that one thing, right? With that label.
All right, I don't want to play too much of this. It's going to sting these people when XRP outperforms every other crypto this market, this cycle, right? I mean, think about this. We look at the top 3 assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, right? Bitcoin ran, it had its moment in 2020. Ethereum had its moment in 2020. You know, they did anywhere from a 20 to 40x. It is now XRP's time to shine. Then we come to find out here that Spain's second largest banking group is running operations on the XRP ledger. So let's shift to Europe for a second. Because while the US still drags its feet, Spain's second largest banking group, BBVA, they're already building out on the XRP ledger. Here's the headline. BBVA just expanded its supply chain finance offering through a strategic alliance with OLEA. Sounds boring, right? Guess what? It's not. Supply chain finance is a $1 trillion market. It's about helping businesses get faster access to working capital, funding invoices, and greasing the wheels of global trade. Now, why XRP Ledger? Simple. Because it provides instant settlement, transparency, and tokenization capabilities. BBVA, they're not experimenting with a sandbox chain. They're running real operations on Ripple's tech stack. This is the part that the skeptics miss. They think XRP adoption means, well, is Starbucks going to accept it at its register? That's not the play. That's never been the play for XRP. Starbucks, Toys R Us, Blockbuster, Netflix, we don't care if they accept XRP. We don't want them to accept XRP. That is not what XRP is made for here, everyone. The play is banks and corporations wiring entire financial processes onto blockchain rails. Supply chains, liquidity corridors, trade finance. These are multi-trillion-dollar verticals. So when BBVA moves in this direction, it is a signal. It's like the bat symbol flashing, you know? Ripple and XRP, they're not niche anymore. They are positioning at the heart of institutional finance. And then we get this clip from Smoke. Listen to this and let's get into it because this is huge.
Can I show your face or no? Yeah. Hi, we're here at CBOS, and this gentleman is taking his time to answer a couple questions about blockchain and if it's going to be implemented in the banking system. So can you let us know how SWIFT is going to use blockchain for sending money?
I'm not sure how SWIFT going to do it, but for sure they will. It's on its way, and we are doing trials on it.
Very good. And do you know about on-demand liquidity and DLT?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know about a company called Ripple, and are they being used?
Ripple, yes, of course we do.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Do you know about bills of lading going to bills of e-lading in the UK?
No, we are not involved on that.
Okay, but do you know about it?
Yes.
Being used on the blockchain?
Yes.
Trading is going to be on the blockchain?
We had listened about it, but we are not involved in it
Right.
at the moment.
Are you connected with Ripple in any way, a partner with Ripple?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's a very good answer. All right, I really appreciate your time. And
So he says to not partner with Ripple. He said not yet, but folks, this is where it gets nuclear. Because at SWIFT's flagship conference, all the big boys gather up, you know, and they get together. This is the event for global banking, right? It's in-person perspective. It confirms what we have been hearing for years, that banks are actively discussing Ripple and on-demand liquidity. He says he knows about ODL, he knows about Ripple, and he says they're not partnered yet. Yet. Let that sink in. Not what's Ripple, who's Ripple. No, we don't see a use case, but we know who they are. We know what they do. We're just not partnered with them yet. That's code for discussions are happening, doors are open, and the infrastructure, it's on the radar. Why is this so big? I mean, I don't think you need me to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Because SWIFT has been the backbone of international payment for 50 years. Every major bank on the planet is plugged into it. For years, Ripple and SWIFT has been positioned as rivals. But what's happening now? Banks are saying out loud at SWIFT's own event that Ripple's ODL is part of their active conversation set. This is how the slow burn moment that people miss when banks adopt. They don't announce who a frameworks. They test it, they integrate it, they roll it out across corridors quietly. And then one day, guess what? It's the standard. That's what's happening with ODL. Now imagine this scenario. A bank is plugged into SWIFT for messaging. They lay a Ripple ODL on top for liquidity and settlement. Suddenly, payments aren't T+2. They're instant and they're cheaper. Why would a bank not adopt that once the rails are proven? They can't ignore it because competitors will. And here's the kicker. Ripple doesn't need every bank tomorrow. It just needs a handful of the major players to normalize on-demand liquidity. And once that happens, the rest will follow. Not because they want to, but because they have to. And if SIBO's conversations are already at the stage we aren't partnered yet, that means that the ball is in motion. The yet is everything. This is why I'm so bullish long term. Forget the FUD, forget the hate. Ripple has done the hardest work. Compliance, corridors, partnerships, bank integrations. The public just isn't seeing the full scope yet. But behind the scenes, at the most important global banking conference, Ripple's name is in the air. That's not speculation, everyone. That's confirmation. I'm going to leave it like that. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. I'll catch all y'all in the next one.